How do we ensure, and this is the thing that I love the most, how do we ensure that the great things that SAFE has done for the last 85 years for our members and our community, how does that continue for another 85, even better and stronger and more powerful? And that's what this combination is about.
Greetings, neighbors. Welcome to another episode of the Perfect Sense podcast. Today, we are having a very exciting conversation about the evolution of Safe Credit Union and our forthcoming combination with BECU. I am honored to be joined by SAFE CEO Faye Nabhani. Faye, thank you so much for being here. Before we jump in, would you mind just introducing yourself to the audience and telling them a little bit about who you are and what you do here at SAFE?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Faye Nabhani. I'm the president and CEO of SAFE Credit Union. I basically support everything we do here at SAFE, ensuring we deliver great service to our members every day. And I'm really excited to say that this month I am celebrating my 10-year anniversary here at SAFE.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am stoked. So I've actually been at SAFE for 12 years as of this last January.
Yeah.
And speaking of the evolution of SAFE, right? We
Yeah.
are a longtime financial institution. We've been in the Sacramento area since 1940. And over that course of time, as anyone could imagine, there's a lot of different evolutions that we've gone through. And I think we do find ourselves being sort of a leader in the space of credit unions. So tell us a little bit about this forthcoming combination with BECU and what does that mean? Why are we excited about it? And ultimately, why is SAFE going out on this venture?
Yeah. Wow, that's like about 30 questions all in one. So I'll just sort of start with when I think of delivering on our purpose. We are, we're a not-for-profit, mission-driven organization. And so our purpose is to help deliver our members in their financial lives and freedom. It doesn't mean we solve all of their problems, but that we are there for them through all of life's journeys, and we do everything we can to help in those financial steps, as well as create called a low fee, high rate, high value environment for them to do their financial business with us, and be a great partner and serve them from the early years all the way up and until the later years. We're there by your side. And so that's been our mission for 85 plus years. When you think about the combination, any institution has to juggle all of the competing pressures and all of the demands for our time and our resources. And what is beautiful about this combination is finding a partner in this that not only has the same member commitment and dedication to members, but even more so than what SAFE has been able to do in our 85 years plus. They've been able to do more. And I love their return to member model, the financial value that they're able to give back to their members on an ongoing, consistent basis that we are going to now be able to provide to our members, a value that we ourselves on our own cannot deliver. And that's really, really powerful and meaningful for me. And as a people helping people and as a community provider, that is our responsibility. So this is very exciting for me to be able to say we're doing this for our region.
Absolutely. And as you know, right, in the course of the work that I do, every day I'm in a different part of our region, engaging with different audiences. And what I find is when I talk to folks, especially folks that have only ever experienced a traditional bank, there's a lot of sort of unknowns when they're like, well, what makes a credit union a credit union? And I love how you emphasize the people helping people mindset, because it goes so far in really explaining how we show up for our members and the work that we do. I've honestly been so impressed as I've learned more and more about BECU with how much alignment there is between our two organizations. So could you tell us a little bit more about why BECU is the right fit for SAFE?
Yeah. I love that you asked that question. So I've been in this industry for, maybe I shouldn't say how long, but a long time. I was a little under 23 years at another credit union and 10 here at SAFE. So I know lots of credit unions and I know our industry really well. And I love what credit unions do. I think it's extremely special. In any region, in any location across the country, credit unions do miraculous and amazing things. Some also do it better than others. That is the reality. There are some, and where the size matters, their scale matters. And I would say a commitment to delivering value matters. And what I have found as I've looked across the space, and it's always been part of SAFE's strategic vision and view of both you have natural organic growth as you should, but inorganic additional growth through a merger combination has always been something we've been focused on as well because it's important to grow. And so looking across that landscape and looking for a partner who had and who delivers a great deal of value to members was one of frankly the singular priority in the conversation. And BECU, both from their conviction to how they support the community, to their conviction in how they support members, and committing both facts and figures as well as spirit and intent over a long history. So this isn't something brand new. This is provable. It's demonstrable. You can see it in the data. You can see it in their statistics. It's factual, which I love. I love data. So this really resonates for me. And so it's undeniable in the extreme value that that's able to provide our members. And as a low-income designated credit union, every dollar matters. Everything counts. And so when we're able to provide such dramatic changes to our fees, dramatic changes to being able to provide more loan opportunities, both from a consumer and a small business. I'm a lender at heart. I grew up on the lending side before I became the CEO and into my leadership role now. Loans are one of the most critical ways to financial success and freedom, when done well, of course. And so to me, having more loan opportunities and the value that can come from that is going to be tremendous for our region. And just the alignment of purpose and value and commitment is factual, demonstrable, and you can see it every day in what they do. And I love how that aligns with what we do here.
And, because we've sort of talked about the history, right? Like SAFE has been a formidable institution in our region, really a community partner for 85 plus years. And, when you look at that timeline, that's nothing to sneeze at. And I would say that, as far as I know, is even in my own 12 years that I've been here, there's always been evolution. There's always been sort of a growth mindset. And so why would you say now is the right time for the combination?
I would say you want to be at a position that you're at your strongest, number one. I think SAFE's in a great position, frankly. We are at we're in probably the best position we've been in I don't know how many years, but it's been, it's been some time. We've had through COVID, even from the economic, 2008 crises. There's lots of ups and downs. And right now we are in a great strength position. So it has nothing to do with that. Sometimes you're just looking for the right opportunity, the right partner, and the timing is critical in finding when those two meet together, and it creates the right synergies. And so sometimes it's just that right timing for both of us, and it is in this case. There isn't necessarily some magic, theorem or algorithm that goes on. Sometimes there's other opportunities at just the wrong time, right? And that's okay too. For us, this was the right time. For our board, who's always been very committed to the belief that driving greater member value has always been on the list. We've looked at many opportunities. This is not the first by far, as we should. And they've been very committed to how do we ensure, and this is the thing that I love the most, how do we ensure that the great things that SAFE has done for the last 85 years for our members and our community, how does that continue for another 85, even better and stronger and more powerful? And that's what this combination is about.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's so insightful. And I really appreciate you sort of mentioning that, it's all about partnership. It's all about having the right symbiotic fit. And, I think, again, for consumers that have been members of a credit union, I think they understand that credit unions sometimes have this, there may be a sentiment that what can a credit union do that a bank can't do? But I think once folks have credit union membership, they find that credit unions are all about finding creative solutions, being nimble, being able to really work and walk alongside their members. And so frankly, I'm also very excited because I think the future is probably brighter than it's been. And I think it's great that we can, really empower our members even more to take whatever that next step is on their journey to financial freedom.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I think it'd be great to sort of give an overview if we can, or kind of highlight what might be some of the key benefits for members as we move into this combination?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think one of the easiest ways to express it is what are the things that most impact us on a day-to-day basis? They're things that we either pay fees for or pay interest on or receive interest for, right? So either your loan rates, your deposit rates, or the fees that you're paying for services. And in the case of the combination of BECU, all of those things are going to be hugely valuable to our members. We're going to have very significant fee reductions for our members right off the bat, which is very exciting for me. Again, the elimination of any cost is always a value add.
Yeah.
The ability to also, as I said, have competitive and the opportunity for better rates even on loan products, right? Every quarter point, half point, full point of interest adds up on either the loan side or on the deposit side. They have a number of products that we don't have today that provide even greater value for higher interest on the first, say $500 of the checking account or the savings account. Kids' accounts have special rates. So things that are about savings, but also recognizing that not every checking balance is $5,000-$10,000, but get paid extra on that beginning amount. Just that first $500 in an account can add up quickly for our members. So even small things like that. But at the end of the day, it's products, services, lower fees, better interest rates. I would also add the ancillary things such as being able to have greater strength in our commercial and small business products and services. We have great services today, and they're going to get, I think, even better, far better. I'm really excited about the business side opportunities for our members and for the community. Things like I'll explain it probably not quite correctly, but loan reprice is part of this return to member value model that they have. And what I love about this is that as your credit improves, if you have an auto loan with us, for example, as your credit improves, if you, let's say, had a higher interest rate slightly at the beginning of your loan, we are going to automatically review your credit. And as your credit improves, we will reduce your interest rate automatically. You don't ask for it. You don't even know what's going to happen. We're just going to say, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
You just got a rate reduction. Things like that are meaningful when you talk about what is our purpose for helping exist. Like, why are we here? Well, I'm here to help your financial life. How better than to do something like that and say you're going to pay less money for that same exact thing? How often do you hear that?
Right. And well, it sounds to me like BECU organizationally, and I think SAFE does this similarly as well, tries to have a holistic approach to meeting the member where they're at, right? So regardless of life stage or industry that you work in or what your immediate need is right now in terms of banking services, there ideally will be a solution for everybody across that spectrum, from kids to teens to parents to folks that maybe are approaching retirement. And so I love the fact that we sort of have that guiding philosophy of like, well, we're here in service to the members. And I think, again, in the nature of the work that I do, when I'm out having conversations, for the most part, like one thing we can certainly acknowledge is that financial stressors, economic hardships are sort of omnipresent, right? Like people are feeling them, again, regardless of their life stage or what they're experiencing. But I think what's so uplifting is to be able to like, I often ask people when I'm out speaking with them, like, what has your bank done for you lately? Like, is your bank just meeting your needs in terms of like, well, I can log into my online banking and I can online, like check my balances and just do like the bare minimum of the expectations? Or are they consistently going above and beyond your expectations to, again, really empower you on that journey that you may be on? Because financial freedom is defined differently by all people, right?
Absolutely. I think along those lines, it's how quickly do we give you access to your money? On your deposit side too, it's just as effective. Like how fast is your paycheck in your account? How quickly can you get access to things? How, what's your check holds? How much can you get from an ATM? And we here at SAFE, we've been really on that journey and campaigning for moving our members' money faster into their hands and creating the greatest amount of accessibility and ease and convenience, which I think is, frankly, is table stakes from a servicing sort of perspective. But really, at the end of the day, it could be in the difference between having money for a tank of gas or not. That day or the next day. It makes a big difference. So everything we're thinking about and everything we're aiming towards is providing and giving that value to our members in a variety of ways. So yes, while there's the financial actual dollars and cents of, let's say, maintenance fees or transaction fees for certain things,
Sure.
it's also just how are we helping ensure our members have their money as fast and as accessible and easy as possible. And this combination provides us with even greater resources to do those things. Look, the reality is while we want to give our members money faster, fraud and the sort of all of the cyber attacks and all the things that can happen, there's a lot more cost that goes into keeping our members protected as well. So, all of those things add up, and we are driven, literally driven, to help provide our members access quickly, expeditiously, and make sure that they can do what they need to do to have their great life, whatever that is. So we don't want to stand in that way, but yet it also costs a lot more every day to do those things effectively and
sure.
quickly.
Yeah, that really speaks to, the importance of scalability. So it's great that, again, we have a partner that can allow us to really grow
Yep.
and do things in a way that's meaningful and, to your point, like, serves the member in the best way possible.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing to acknowledge again is that this combination is really a massive undertaking. It's sort of an evolution that's safe. It's one of a kind. It's, very going to be historic. And just in terms of like day-to-day member experience, what might folks come to expect again as we draw near to the combination?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So this is kind of like the practical side of things,
Yeah.
right? The good news is right now we don't need to do anything at this moment.
Sure.
There's no immediate changes to accounts or any of those sorts of things. There's no changes to how you're accessing funds, going to branches, everything. All of those things stay the same, whether it's now or through this process. Really, we're going to be getting to the most important part of this, which is our members get to decide. So it's like how, members might be hearing about some of this, and obviously we've made some press releases and stuff, but it's like they don't really know what it all means exactly more to them. And then what do they do about that? And that's really important. And our members' voice is the number one key thing for us. Like, we want to hear our members and what their decisions and what their thoughts are. So there'll be a lot of information coming out in the coming months that will guide our members, every single one of them, on what does this mean for them? What is this? How does this impact their lives? What's the value in it for them? Why would they want to say yes to this? What are those future opportunities, both short and long term? And then how do they deliver on, voting for this? We are a member-owned organization and
Yeah.
cooperative, right? This is, there's only one vote for every member, just one. Doesn't matter how many dollars you have here, and that's that cooperative spirit. And in that, all of our members will have the chance to assess and consider, to talk to us, to have conversations and dialogue and ask questions, and get to a comfort space. I believe. Hopefully, they'll hear the message we're sharing about just the commitment to our members, to this region, to our community, to them, number one, far more than anything else,
Yeah.
to our employees, and that what this is about taking what we've done and making it even bigger and better. And hopefully that'll resonate, and hopefully then our members will agree with that, and that all that information and how to continue to get more information will come in that process.
Yeah, no, I think it's so valuable for you to emphasize that, again, like, the member vote is a key part of this entire process.
It's the whole thing.
So it's great because, like, while, at this particular moment in time, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, a lot of collaboration happening between the two organizations. Once we get later into 2026, that member vote is going to be so critical.
Yeah.
And then, realistically, we're looking at like early 2027 to say the combination has happened.
Yeah.
But it's not like turning on a light switch. There's processes that need to take place. And so we want to make sure that our members feel confident and reassured that, like, we're guiding you through this. We're all going through it together, and we're going to be all the better for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It can feel like, okay, so what happens after this is all done, quote unquote? What does that mean? Well, the good news is initially it kind of doesn't mean a lot in the beginning. I mean, you said there's a lot of stuff that has to happen to really pull all of the, the systems side and pieces together in the future, after the vote occurs. And so that's a longer process, of course, of integrating and combining really, truly the two organizations. Right now we're, working together towards this, but of course we still are completely independently operating, have no operations together. Really, it isn't until after our members have spoken, after they've heard and after they've spoken, that then we complete the process. And that will be another journey. And I am very excited. Like we're on the same system as
Yeah.
far as like main core systems, which is important. We already know that there isn't any account number collisions and member number collisions, meaning we won't have to change a lot for our members. There's always some level of maybe some optics changes of sort. But it will be honestly we are working very hard in the consideration that there'll be as little change even further downstream as humanly possible. Mainly because one of the most important parts is that all the people that are here at SAFE today are part of the BECU SAFE tomorrow. And that's what drives how we do things in this region is all of the people. It's you're going to be sitting here across from me,
Sure.
halfway through next year, we're going to have a follow-up conversation about it. So let's talk about retrospective,
Yeah,
right?
right. No kidding.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. How did this all work out, right? No, but we're here. They recognize the value of what SAFE is and the people of SAFE in this region, and we will be a part of this greater combined, but we will be helping them be successful in this region for our members, and they get that fully.
I love to hear it because I think what's so important is that it's a decision that's being made with a ton of care, a ton of consideration for the member, the end user. And I've always had the tendency to feel like SAFE really is just this magnet for some of the most amazing people. Like in my journey, I feel like I've been surrounded by really great leaders and just awesome people that I've had the pleasure of working with. But I also feel like that extends to the members as well. So, in speaking kind of with an emphasis on, I guess, community impact, like how will SAFE continue to maintain its local presence and its community first mindset?
Yeah, no, I love that. So, I would say probably dozens of ways, to be honest, but I'll summarize it in, I think a couple of really key ones. One, we spoke a little bit about before, which is the people who are here. Myself, we have leaders, we have community people, we have yourself, right? People who are live and love this community will continue to be driving, how we show up in the community, where we show up. I'm the vice chair of the GSEC, Greater Sacramento Economic Council. And I'm very proud of that because it's about driving growth and prosperity and value into this market and region. And I will continue to serve in that role. We'll continue to have key representation, whether it's, the SAC chamber. Lexis spends a great deal of her time there focused on, again, the economic and the value of this region. So there's all of the things and the people and the roles we play today and how we drive, where we're putting our time and financial investments and philanthropy, hours and dollars, right? That'll all continue. And it'll get even much bigger. We give on average about $500,000 a year in philanthropic giving. And with the BECU combination, we're going to be increasing that by $1 million. So we'll have $1.5 million to be able to invest in this region. And that's you get a threefold value here. I mean, like that's very difficult to do under your own sort of normal operations and organic business to increase that kind of giving.
Yeah.
We'll be able to do that next year, like immediately at the close. Like that's really exciting, and it just means significantly more investment in this region for the value and prosperity of this region because of their model, because how much they believe in community and showing up right for their community.
No, that's huge. And I think, like, as somebody who was born and raised in this community, I mean, I'm technically a Placer County kid, but the fact that, I've spent my
greater sector, greater region.
Yeah, no, of course. And so, like at this stage in my life, like the older I get, the more grateful I am that my roots run deep in this region. And now I'm raising my own kids here. And it's just, for me, like, I'm so excited to see how far Sacramento has come in the last 30 years. And I think I would imagine that the folks at BECU, when they look at this region, they probably see a lot of those, like a shining example of like, yeah, it makes sense to be doing business in Sacramento because it's just rich with opportunity. That's my take.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, they're smart people. They're looking around and no, I mean, I'm being realistic. I mean, there's the business understanding of what they're investing in. This is a significant investment. This isn't, it's not by accident. SAFE was part of this. We're part of this because we are, as you say, we attract great talent. We do great things. We serve our members in a great way. We have a great reputation. All of those things exist both within this region, but also in our industry and are well known. And this area is growing. The population is growing. We've got the best economic growth in most of California. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I do know that we are growing far more than the other areas of California just from this just fact basis.
Yeah.
So it means that they're coming into a place that has a mindset that is like-minded. And that makes a big difference when they're looking at investments. I mean, we're looking at where do the next branches go and how do we expand branches, right? Maybe in the future, at this point, we're maybe able to do 1 or 2 branches a year. Maybe it's going to be, 1, 2, 3 more, right, in the same time frame.
Yeah.
Really being able to extend our services in a more effective way, even than we could, again, by far on our own, with the resources that are going to be invested in this region with the combination. It's very
Nice.
exciting.
Yeah, I love to hear it. So one thing that makes me really proud to be a SAFE employee is just how we deliver financial education in a lot of different ways to our community members. Would you mind speaking a little bit more to like SAFE's commitment to financial education and how that might grow or, create more impact?
Yeah. First and foremost, the commitment is never ending, and that commitment will only grow with our combination with BECU. We do great things today, and I love how I've seen that evolve even over the last 5-10 years, all the way down to our kids' accounts, right? Look, it matters, and even getting those services into young people's hands early and helping them learn early is so critical in their financial lives. And under BECU, we will have additional resources and programs that they've long run that are very similar, but I think will only serve to augment and increase and enhance all the things that we're doing today and make them even better and stronger. So that will continue to be a very high priority for us.
Yeah, one thing I've observed is that like I think there's mutual learning happening. Like I feel
Yeah.
like on the safe side, the BECU looks at us and they're like, oh, they do a lot of cool things that maybe we're not doing at this point in time. And then we sort of observe what they're doing and we're like, oh, they're doing really cool stuff too. And it's going to be sort of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
At least that's my observation.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. You've got 2 great organizations with great, brilliant people really coming together, and you're putting those minds together. It really does become quite incredible about what we can achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. Faye, I can't tell you how happy I am that you were able to join us for this conversation. We've talked about a lot. So before we wrap things up, can you just tell us a little bit more? I mean, I would imagine, both our employees as well as our existing members, there's a lot of feelings that come when you're undergoing a massive change such as this one. What should our members know or do as we, get closer to that official combination happening?
Yeah. Number one, first and foremost, our members are at the pinnacle and purpose of this. And what is best for our members and the value that this is going to deliver is the number one priority for this combination. And for me and for this organization, that's really important to know that. Number two is that, this is to their benefit. My expectations are great degrees of uh, between fee reductions and products and services and technology and scope and scale that will be able to add great value to our members, both in the short and long run, will be part of this combination. There's a lot more information to come, a lot more of the details and a lot more of what it means will be forthcoming. So you don't have to rely just on this podcast. You can wait for all of the great details, which we will be delivering to all of our members so that they can make a really informed and good decision on voting, because this is up to our members to vote. So our members have to vote on whether they think this is the best path for us. So I'm excited about that. The commitments to the community will only grow. We will continue to do what we've been doing, and it will grow exponentially. And I'm very, very, very happy to be able to say that. Our employees will be with us through this whole journey. That's one of the really important things about how do we assure our members in sort of the continuity, right? How do we ensure that, yes, don't worry, this is going to be good for you. Well, that's because the people who are doing it for you today will continue to be doing it for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that really should create, I hope, a great degree of comfort in this and in this journey. And just the fact that I think that when you look at the world around us, and while things do change, the people and who we are and the beauty of what we've been able to do for this region for the last 85 years, while it will evolve, the heart and soul of our values and our purpose will not change because we are the same under this combination. We have the same values and same purpose.
Yeah, I really love that sentiment because, like, if I had to summarize, right, I'd say SAFE over 85 years has built a legacy of doing really amazing and exceptional things in our community. This is going to give us an opportunity to do more and do better of that same philosophy.
Exactly. I agree.
Awesome. All right. Faye, thank you again so much for joining the podcast. Now, before I let you go, I do have to present you with our lightning round.
Lightning round? What?
Yeah.
What?
Are you ready for some fun questions?
All right. But what if I don't think they're fun? Can I ask you questions?
Sure.
Do I get to do lightning round back?
I suppose so.
Well, I mean,
it's only fair.
I would say it's only fair. I would say just saying. All right. Let's let this roll. Let's go.
All right. First question: snack foods. You like savory or sweet?
Oh, sweet.
Okay. Can you give us a couple examples of your favorites?
See's candy, Hershey's with almonds, chocolate bar.
Nice.
I could go Twix.
Nice.
My favorites: the Nerds candy with the gummy in the center.
So you lost me. You lost me.
Really?
I'm big on the sweet tooth, but I do feel like chocolate is where it's at.
Chocolate is where it's at.
My kiddos love like the sour and the gummy, but
I don't like
me,
sours.
Like,
no, it's got to be the sweet ones. I can't do sour, but the sweet ones.
The Nerds gummy cluster?
Yeah.
I feel like it's got a tartness.
No. Oh, you're eating the wrong one. I can bring you some. I have some in my office.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. I'll head up there. All right, next one is it's summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite summer vacation destination?
Wow. I don't really have one. My backyard. And mainly because I don't not necessarily do a lot of trips during the summer. I was about to say Palm Springs, and I think, well, that's not really summertime.
Okay, so when's the ideal time?
That's more of a fall or spring, just because it can be pretty hot. Sure. I do appreciate the heat, but in the summertime, that's really hot there.
Okay.
I would say, mostly I spend most of my time in the summer in the backyard. Just, I think, for that very reason, and then try to maybe more fall or spring do something different.
Nice. Love it. One thing I know about you, Faye, is that you are into cars.
Oh, yes.
So, can you tell me what your favorite iconic pop culture car is?
Oh, Back to the Future.
The DeLorean.
DeLorean.
Nice. Excellent.
That's just like classic.
Yeah.
That is literally classic.
Just last year. Yeah. No, you're great. Just last year, I introduced my kids to Back to the Future. So we knocked out the whole trilogy in a weekend.
Yep.
And then, oddly enough, my 5-year-old, who's like really into anything that moves, really, he fell in love with Herbie the Love Bug. And it's so cute because we're watching these old films from like the 60s and 70s.
I love it. I love it. They had, I think, the DeLorean. They probably have her. I think they have Herbie too. There's the car museum down in LA.
Yeah.
You got to bring your son to that. It is really cool. And I believe they have the DeLorean amongst many, many, many other pop culture favorites.
Yeah,
including the Mustang, was it the Mustang or the Camaro that was in Dukes of Hazzard?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I'm feeling like I'm super missing the
I
type of
forget
car
the
right now.
model.
But
I thought it was like a Dodge. Is it a Dodge?
Dodge.
Oh,
see, we're all like off on that one. But yes.
Add it to my list. Okay,
add it to
so
the list of places to go.
Automobile Museum, specifically
SoCal.
In SoCal. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Gotta go.
Love it.
It's a must.
Now, this is one that all of our guests answer. So do you have a favorite local business, restaurant, cafe, boutique that you like to frequent?
So don't laugh at me. It is through DoorDash. So 99% the name is Eat a Pita, but I could be wrong on the name. But I believe that's the name of it. So I order. They have great Mediterranean food. And I order it all the time.
Dang. Okay.
But I do it through DoorDash, so it's just on my auto repeat. So I don't really look at the name of it, to be honest, very much. But yes, it's very, very, very good.
All right.
They're
cool.
wholesome.
So that brings us to our last lightning round question. And I'm just curious, Faye, what's next for you in terms of personal goals, aspirations, dreams that you want to achieve?
Right now, I would say this is so super not personal aspirations or anything highfalutin, not in the least. My current personal goal that I'm working on is I'm working on trying to finish off my Evolving Skies Pokemon series deck. And I have about 3/4 of it done, but I'm still missing a couple of the big cards. So I'm working on completing that set, and that'll be one of my summertime trying to get to the end of it.
Nice.
Nothing big and personal nothing big aspirational about it, just good old-fashioned fun.
I love it. Excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Faye. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today, and I look forward to welcoming you back in the future.
Thank you. Me too.
All right.
Hold on. There's one more thing. Like 2 seconds.
So
What?
one thing that you mentioned early in our podcast was that you are celebrating your 10-year anniversary
Oh my
at
goodness.
SAFE. So we just wanted to commemorate that and again, congratulate you on 10 awesome years and many more to come, Faye.
Thank you so much. You're going to make me get teary-eyed. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Perfect Sense podcast. We would love to hear your comments and questions around the SAFE-BECU combination, so be sure to leave them below so we can tailor fit future episodes. If you'd like to learn more about SAFE products and services and how we can help you, visit our website at safecu.org and schedule an appointment with one of our professional experts today. SAFE is federally insured by NCUA and is an equal housing opportunity lender. The purpose of this podcast is to educate and inform on topics surrounding financial well-being. This podcast does not constitute financial, tax, or legal advice and may not apply to your individual situation. You should consult with your own financial, tax, or legal advisor for specific information pertaining to your individual situation. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the participants expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of Safe Credit Union or any of its officials.